It's Thursday night. Of course, we're not on time. We're never on freaking time because all of us, well, one, we all got jobs, but two, it's just we're all like running the last second. But welcome into another Beer Flow show. I am your host, Rod J. That's Dr. Dre back there on the beats. And of course, I'm here with Average Joe. We got Eric out of Michigan. Eric's Beer Reviews. Eric, a Lions fan. Are we going to consolidate that to one now? Just yes. Eric, a Lions fan?
Yes.
All right. And of course, we got Todd, Crazy T is what we call him, out of Indiana. And we're going to get a little beer flow on tonight. So we're going to get into some new Belgium beers. And their brewing company, one of Joe's favorites, as he's muscling down some right now.
Yeah, this is.
But hey, we'll find out what people like. We'll talk about it. They're out there. They had their part of the craft beer game, so we can't really hate on them too much, can we? I mean,
yes we can.
they're part of the La Familia, the family of craft beers. So, going to go ahead and get into some stuff. You guys want to jump right into Belgium? Talk about some of the other stuff happening this week.
Baby, this is your show.
What do you want to do?
Do what you want to do, baby. And you don't stop because it's 187 on undercover. Beep. All right, so we're good.
This song came out. People are like, "Oh, it's a song against cops." Well, if people have ever seen the Deep Cover movie,
yeah,
I was an undercover cop.
Yeah,
it was written for the movie.
It was for the movie, and that was the first song that Snoop did with Dre. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but then it took off. It was a banging beat. People loved it.
Yo, it still
brought
is.
out Snoop Dogg. So
still fantastic. It's better than so many beats from nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays he's hanging out with Martha Stewart. Still can't get that whole relationship together. But the whole Snoop Dogg Martha Stewart show. I mean, if people were into it, they're into it. I mean, she seems kind of hip on there.
Oh, Snoop's. Snoop.
With a little weed, everybody can lean back.
Mm-hmm.
So Snoop's probably got the good stuff. Him and Dave Chappelle locked down all the good stuff. So some of the beer stuff out there. Let's see. So I just did a piece last night. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. Talking about BrewDog.
Yep.
So that was kind of interesting, and there were some other pieces out there. It's kind of making its way around the social media world at this point with their pink IPA. And it was almost like a good idea going awry, because it seemed like a good idea, I'm sure, at one point. But, as we know in craft beer, you might want to test your target market before you put stuff out there. And the women backlash is coming. Of course, it happens like 2 days before like today's International Women's Day. So that doesn't help. So they're feeling some heat there. But I put that out there in a few of the different beer groups on Facebook and some other areas and stuff like that. So just kind of an interesting type situation. What do you guys see it? Do you got any think about it? Anything comment about it?
Good intentions, poor execution.
Yeah.
What it comes down to. I don't think stuff like that's really necessary anymore. I mean, if people just think that about equality in general and just do things in their everyday life to promote it, I don't think you need a beer and then to have it be pink is just like, come on. You got to be smarter than that. Just come on, help.
Well, the funny thing is, on the bottle they put "beer for girls."
Yeah,
and I know a lot of women don't like to be referred to as girls, so that's one thing there. But I thought might have got them in a little bit of the trap. But then people respond back to it, and they're like, "Oh no, it's beer for equality." And they're like, on the label, it says beer for girls. It's like, you could have put beer for equality on the label.
Also,
that problem.
Also, Go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, you go ahead.
I was saying, and kind of like that beer. Who came out that beer not that long ago? Maybe into last year. It was for like menstrual cycles or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yo, that's a bit different.
Still under the category marketing going wrong for sure, right? So,
right.
Just know your markets, where you're at. Know the timing of stuff. Know what's happening out there in the world. I mean,
And like the fact that they call it pink IPA, look, I know pink is representation of a lot of things that are female related, like breast cancer awareness and whatnot. But like the whole pink equals female, blue equals male thing is like, come on.
Yeah.
It's just another thing. It's just another thing for people to bitch about, and rightfully so in some respects. The only thing that would have made it worse is they threw some kind of fruit in there, right? Because all women love fruity beers. It's like, settle down. Settle down, BrewDog. At least they did one thing right. They didn't hit on that stereotype.
Do you think it would have been better had they come out with it like closer to breast cancer awareness? Well, I guess it is in February though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, breast cancer
awareness.
October.
October.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, the BrewDog CEO in America is a woman. I don't know if it was just her idea. They said, okay, let's run with it. And she didn't check with other women or kind of target market it out there to see the feel on it. But
it's a little bit of column A and column B. Like I said, it's good intentions for sure.
Yeah.
Poor execution, putting beer for girls on the label. But again, it's the 2018, the last couple of years, a lot of people are very sensitive and get easily offended.
Yeah.
I would say if I was a woman, I would be like, okay, beer for girls, not down with that. But it's cool. They are promoting equality, and they are trying to do something for the cause. And you got to take it for what it is. But again, everyone likes to jump on something, right? You gotta be offended in some way, or you take something nice and you got to instantly turn around. They missed the mark with putting beer for girls on there, plain and simple. That was stupid.
Yeah.
Lack of a better word, it was stupid. You could have done so many more things other than basically calling all women girls, because that's just stupid and ridiculous. So they failed on that aspect of it, but I think their intentions were really good, and I applaud them for trying. But just next time, do a little bit more market research, maybe more understand what your demographic is, understand how things are worded can go poorly, because it happened.
Yeah.
So good for them, but bad on them.
Yeah, it was maybe a missed opportunity. I like the idea they took basically the punk IPA and made it pink, and then they were selling it at 80% of the cost of what it would be for the punk IPA, donating the other 20% to a charity. All sounds solid and dandy and a good opportunity, but again, they've kind of fumbled at the goal line on it. So let's see. I don't think there was a hard intent of it being anything bad, but it's just the whole way it came out and the way it was done could have been done better. So
no, it wasn't malicious. Like there's a lot of brews out there that put like scantily clad women on their bottles and cans, and a lot of things nowadays that portray them in certain ways that they shouldn't be portrayed at. And, those are poor intentions. That's trying to sell it because of that. I think BrewDog really, was thinking about equality and whatnot. It's just, they basically, with the whole slogan, beer for girls, they missed the mark.
Yeah.
They would have said beer for women or beer for equality. Just take the woman out of that, beer for equality, and just went with that. I think you wouldn't have this flashback. I don't think people would really care. They'd be like, oh, it's a cool quality,
Hey, save the Tata's pink IPA.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Copyright that now. Some craft brewery's gonna run with that.
And then they're gonna get backlash on social media, so you might not want that.
Of course, I'm trying to still figure out. I haven't even looked at the story yet, but I've heard enough and seen some things out there about this whole glitter beer, which is kind of weird. There's a glitter beer taking place right now too out in the marketplace, which have no idea why that's even needed. But
I'm on board. You don't like your
people
like flakes in it, like Goldschlager is?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's
why?
Let's do
why.
New England style IPA with glitter. Let's do it, boys. We're on board.
I don't know who's walking around the bar with a glitter beer, but hey, it's your drink. Do what you're gonna do. Not hating on you. It's not for me, but it's your world. Whatever you want to do.
That beer looks.
Mix the two together. Pink beer with glitter.
I'm saying
you're getting crazy, Todd. Now
New England style IPA. That beer looks hazy and juicy. It's shiny too. Yeah, no, it's
But I saw some articles on that. And I saw some Facebook posts. I just haven't got a chance to really get involved to really dig deep into it, but kind of interesting with the whole glitter thing. Jason Voorhees, welcome. Swami, welcome. Seeing some of the comments in the chat there. And
I don't have to read it, which is fantastic.
Jason says the beer version of a rosé wine. So, speaking of beer things, so as you all know, like I'm not one. I always say I'm not going to wait in line for a beer. I'm just not going to do it. That's not me. But apparently, Angry Chair Brewing pretty much got an uproar where people were waiting in line and like other people were complaining because people were waiting for their beer release and they kept apologizing for it. They said, they didn't even tell people to line up for it like that, but it's kind of like this crazy thing out there about Angry Chair and these other people that are kind of like businesses next to them because all these people were in line into their spaces and all that kind of stuff. So I don't get it. I mean, I know you want to get a beer you might not get before, but I'm not going to wait out there 6-7 hours to get a beer. I just don't get the allure of it.
Yeah, I have done it, and again, I see both sides of this. Like, I'm okay with either way. I get why you wouldn't want to wait in line. Like, it's not for everybody. The people don't want to waste their time or perceiving to waste their time. I've done it, and here's the thing: what you're saying about neighbors. I went to the other half beer that all three of you had, courtesy of myself. I waited in line for that beer in downtown Buffalo for about 2 hours. The biggest issue I had with it was the fact that people were bottle sharing in line, which is illegal. But
oh wow, okay.
But a lot across the country, across the world, when these shares happen in line at bottle releases, they're not so much frowned upon as like keep it on the hush hush. Take care of your bottles and cans when they're done. Make sure you're not being flashy, like holding up the bottle and screaming and loud. We want a sip. Like just keep it on the down low with a hush hush. Yeah. And what happens is you get these people, and this is what I experienced this when I went to the release in late November. People were leaving all their beers on the curb. Some of them had beers still in them. There was trash cans, there was recycling bins. They weren't using them. Now, does that piss off the other and on top of that, the other shops next door were also, as you mentioned with the Angry Chair, they were like, well, what the hell? Well, you're blocking the entrance to my shop, blah blah blah. Make a long story even a bit longer. There have been no releases since then. I don't think there are going to be any more, mostly because of the bottle shares and people leaving their beers and whatnot, but also because the neighbors of the brewery were not happy with people waiting in line for 2-3 hours and blocking up their entrances. You could even see a couple different owners came out to have a cigarette or whatever, and they're sitting there. You can see they're like giving the stink eye. One guy was like, all this for beer? And I was like, yeah, it's all this for beer. You should go back to the T-Mobile store and shut your mouth. No, I'm just kidding. It's one of those things where it was like you could see it, and I kind of knew that would probably be the last time, or it's going to be very infrequent, just because people are ignorant and they ruin it for everyone else. And that's probably what's happening with Angry Share as well. A lot of people just being ignorant and stupid. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess it's unfortunate that people are acting that way for something like that. I mean, it's not like you're talking about 5-year-old kids or something, although they may act like it, but.
No, it was ridiculous to see it on the curb of the street. It's like there's trash cans over there. There's a recycling bin. You can't walk 10-15 feet and put it in the proper area. Like, why do you have it? It was unreal. I was very angry about it because I'm like, not only are you being super selfish, but you're also ruining for everyone else. I mean, you're not like, you want to drink these beers in line, which you shouldn't be anyway because it's illegal. But if you want to, take care of your shit. Otherwise, something like this might not happen again. You might get the brewery in trouble. Yeah, and you're also littering. Like that's not where the bottles go.
You're ruining it for everybody else too. Yep. So,
it was terrible to see. It was very upsetting.
Oh. And Swami had commented, honestly, it's all marketing. Yeah, a lot of it is marketing for a lot of these different things we were talking about with the pink IPA or the glitter type stuff, and even, I guess, even maybe into some of this stuff where people are out there, because they do put these things out there for beer release. But the funny thing is, like, Angry Jerry didn't put anything out there, but people just knew. And they pretty much told them, if you're in line and you came at this time, don't, because you're not going to get a beer. We only have a certain amount. We have more people in line now. So they go on their Facebook page, stay home. Don't come down here.
Yeah.
So, and of course, people still came down there.
People don't like to listen, right? They'll do whatever they want.
And then they're coming in, like one of the guys brought up on one of the stories is, they're coming in, but they're not coming in to buy the beer for themselves. They're trying to buy it so they can sell it on the second market. So people that actually want to enjoy the beer can't even get in line to get the beer because other people are just trying to get it and bootleg it out, basically.
Dude, that's one of the biggest issues with craft beer in general. I went to one of the first times I ever waited in line for a beer was at Coonan Brewery in Michigan, in Detroit. And I waited in line for like 5 hours with Ewart. Technically Murray. And it was a good time. We shared some beers in line. It was fun. It was highly enjoyable. But you could see all the people who brought their so-called mules. This guy brought his mom. She had to be in her 60s. Couldn't tell you a Doppelbock from a freaking porter from anything. She was just there to help her son get past the limit.
Yeah.
But she had to wait in line for 5 hours. And I'm like, she is an awesome mother, but also that kid is a piece of shit. I'm like, to make it, and the story goes with his 20 degrees outside in 20-degree weather, waiting outside, his mom. And I'm like, come on, dude, you don't need that extra case of beer that badly. Oh, well, I got people to hook up and I got trades to make, this and that. And I'm just like, seriously, this is what it's come to? Like, you're going to make your mom wait in line for 5.5 hours in 20-degree weather so you can get an extra 4 bottles of each? Fantastic.
You're probably 90% of the people that are standing there, that's exactly what they're doing it for. They're not necessarily getting it to enjoy themselves, they're getting it so they can upgrade and get something else, Treehouse or Trillium or whatever,
if you're willing to spend your own time to wait in line for that, you can do whatever you really want with it. It's when you bring extra people for the sole purpose of just hoarding it or trading it. That's when I get very, I don't want to say annoyed, but it's just, again, one of those things where it's like, if they only have 300 cases available, you're stopping potentially somebody here that might want to actually drink the beer, as opposed to you who's using a currency. Of course, what people like to respond to that is, well, they should have gotten in line earlier. They should have got here half an hour earlier. I guess, but you could just not be an asshole too and just not hoard everything. Oh, well, I waited in line for 5 hours so I can get what? All right, whatever. I'm not going to argue with you. All I'm going to say is, how about you just be a little more unselfish? That's craft beer was not built around being selfish. It was built about sharing, and it's lost on so many people nowadays. That's not what it's become anymore.
Yeah,
that's like one of our local liquor stores here. One of the bigger ones here in Indiana, or in my area. They do a Black Friday thing, like a raffle every Black Friday.
Right.
And he'll hold stuff back throughout the year. Barrel aged stuff, some hard to get stuff, whatnot. So it doesn't cost you anything. You just go, you get there when it opens, you get your ticket, and you stand, wait for them to draw. This past Black Friday, a lady got busted for having like 5 mules there. She had like 5 or 6 handfuls of tickets, and she got drawn out early. And then she got caught the second time. And he's like, "Didn't you already win?" She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "No, you're not getting any more."
Yeah,
which was good because it's like just there, like Joe was saying, she was just there for the sole purpose of getting stuff to trade. While her husband or boyfriend or whomever was probably out getting all the Bourbon County stuff at other places. She had a list of beers that she was like, "Hey, this is what I want." Didn't even know what she was there to get, So
yeah. Well, we got like one of our stores here, and there's actually one I took you to, Todd, where you got the Belgian ale. When they get stuff in, they pretty much raffle it out to their most valued customers, so you don't have to wait in line. So they keep a list, like you put your 4-digit number. Like when we checked out, he asked for my code and everything.
Oh yeah.
And those that actually come there and work with them and buy the beers, when they get special releases, they say, "Hey, you're eligible to be in the sweepstakes for the beer if you want to be into it." And they raffle just from that group. And those people that are valued customers get to come there. You don't have to worry about standing in line. They actually keep the stuff behind the counter or whatever. You come in, identify yourself, and they go ahead and get you the beer.
Yeah,
that's awesome. No, that's what they should do, because you're actually buying stuff throughout the year, and not just there to hoard the special stuff.
Right.
Or a lot of people, they give a lot of places will do the online buying the ticket. Like they'll say, okay, tickets will go on sale at 10, kind of like buying concert tickets, whatever. You go on, you buy a ticket, and it guarantees you a certain amount of beers, and you can show up in a certain time span over a week or two to pick it up. And like kind of like you said, you're identified by whatever ticket you had. You just need your identification. And yeah, again, you have to be online at a certain time, but also you can be in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to wait in line. You don't have to go someplace. You just got to have a computer open and on Facebook or wherever it is. So there's a lot better ways to go about it than waiting in line and stuff. I feel like the whole waiting in line thing will have to come to an end at some point.
Yeah.
I just don't know how feasible it is. And, at some point, I think there's a lot of amazing beer out there, but at some point, I think it's going to come to the point where there's just too much amazing beer. And I don't know how many people are going to continually want to wait in line. Especially if like bigger, like you see something like Trillium, right? They used to have a lot of lines. Apparently not anymore. They got a couple locations. They make a lot of it. more limits aren't as what they used to be. So like Trillium doesn't trade as well in terms of currency as it used to. So you don't have people waiting in line, because it's not like if I get a couple cans of this, I can get something off from all the way across the country that I really want. Doesn't trade as well. Still trades quite well, but it's not as well.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's not a type of business out there yet that you can just plug it in on your phone like an app, where basically someone's going to have a beer release. You can go in there and say, okay, I want to get 2 bottles, and they'll do like a convenience thing, and they'll have someone go out there and take the spot for you and stand for you.
Like Instacart or whatever?
Yeah.
Like shopping for them?
They can't. I mean, this was something created by a kid. I forgot what state the kid was in, to do for movies. And so basically they would contact them on the app, like when movie release came out, Star Wars or, Black Panther, whatever it might be, a long line type thing. And kids in the neighborhood, this kid got working under him. We need to get 3 tickets or whatever. And you got to get out there. So they have 3 spots taken with these 3 kids. You paid the fee or whatever to do it. And then they said, hey, you're like 10 minutes from where your spot is, or 15 or whatever. You come over, you pay the kids, and you take the spots. And then you're right there to buy the tickets to whatever. I'm just surprised they haven't done that. They can't do it with kids, obviously, for the beer lines, but you would think that's a great opportunity for someone to do it. Like, I would pay a convenience fee. I'm not going to stand out there. But if there was a beer I want, I might pay 10 or 15 for someone to hold a spot for me, and then I'll come pay for the beer, and I would pay for that convenience. So,
well,
I probably could if they're just standing in line, right? As long as they're not buying or inside the store, they probably could just stand there.
Yeah.
I think I've had this conversation with Drunken One before. How much do you value your time?
Right.
What's the equivalent in monetary value? That's when we talked about home brewing. He's like, well, you save a lot of money home brewing, but I'm like, from start to beginning, if it takes you, say, 4, 6, 8 hours, how much money are you really saving if you value your time at, say, $20 an hour, $15 an hour, whatever?
Yeah.
Are you really saving money? Technically. But if you're spending your time doing it, maybe not. Like, it all depends on how much, I guess, you really love it.
Some people will pay $30 to have their long cut, which could take them just $8 or $10 to do it. But they don't want to do it because they got the convenience of having someone else come in and do it for them. Yeah. They can pay that $20 upcharge.
They can spend their time doing other things, yes.
Right.
And that's just how it works too. Like what you're saying, like if I could be guaranteed every year to get like a couple bottles of Bourbon County, and I know it's already $11.99, would I pay an extra $3 to $5 a bottle to know that I don't have to do anything to get it? Yeah. I might. It might be well worth it instead of needing to wait in line or travel or whatever.
Yeah. Well, think about this. If you're used to getting it like on the secondary market or something like that as well. Mm-hmm. So if someone said if it costs 11, but you're used to maybe paying 23 or 24, and someone can do that and get it to you for 20 or 22, whatever the amount's going to be, and you get it that day.
I've had conversations with people who have paid secondary market prices for like Treehouse. Treehouse is one of the most well-known New England style. I was trying to say well-known and New England all in one, but the well-known New England style producers like Todd, you've heard of Treehouse, Rod, Eric. The Treehouse is popular. Okay, they have been for quite a while. They're a lot. They don't make a lot. They have a new facility where they make more, but they at the brewery usually sell for about anywhere between $16 to like $24 a 4-pack, depending on the beer. Yeah. So let's just say the standard price is $20 a 4-pack. You're talking $5 for a can. For someone who really wants Treehouse, would you be willing to pay $7, $8 a can if you could get it locally and not have to do anything? Yeah. A lot of people would be like, yeah, I'm willing to pay $3 extra a can. No doubt. I don't have to trade for it. I don't have to go to the brewery. I don't have to wait. I don't have to do anything. That shows up and it's $32 a 4-pack. I'm buying it every single time. And just try it to want it. Some people would be like, that's stupid. And that's fair. That I get that point. It all depends on, again, how much you value your time, the effort to go into to purchasing and acquiring these beers. It's sometimes just like pay an extra couple dollars. Good to go.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of like if you were in a bar or a restaurant,
you pay
$8 or $10 whatever for that beer. So really, if you think about it in your mind that way, I mean, you're paying a bar price for a beer to pick up, but it's a beer you can't really get a hold of. So if you're comfortable doing it there, why would you just get it here for that same amount as well?
Yep.
You have to pay a comfort in your home, but it's going to be an upcharge to actually enjoy it. So
that's why I never berate anybody when it's your money.
Yeah.
It's your time. It's whatever you value stuff. When people are like, "Oh man, you paid $30 for that beer," I know, so stupid. It's like it might be stupid to you, but to someone else who has the money, wants that beer, and feels paying an extra X amount of money saves them a lot of hassle.
Right.
It's not stupid to them. It's all in the eye of the beholder, really, when it comes down to it. So I don't berate anybody for any of their choices unless you want to drink New Belgium. Then
Speaking of which, all right, Swami's fighting the flu. Thanks for stopping in for a bit and get some rest there.
Yep. And Jason Forkey said Joe triggered by littering. No, I was triggered by littering, ruining everything for the rest of us. Like, I want all the beer where I sit in line for 7 hours. What are you talking about? Like,
yeah,
that's what I want.
So speaking of which, so we'll swing into New Belgium, and Joe will give a nice rundown on the brewery as he always does. But just for people to know at home, I'm actually drinking the Juicy Haze IPA, one of the newer offerings from the Voodoo Rangers series. So that's the beer I have right now. And I will tell you, it's actually not bad. I did a review, which you can actually check on the channel as well if you want to see what I thought about it. I actually like this one more than I like the Sierra Nevada little hazy thing that they came out with. So I think it's decent, but like we talked about some other companies here, like Other Half, or here, let's just say like Listerman. Some of these other ones that really make New England beers, like Boss Tweed.
Old Nation. M43 Boss Tweed.
It's like you're not in that ballpark yet, but it's a nice effort. It's a good choice of a beer. It can definitely build you up to go in that route. If you're not sure that you really going to like New England IPA, it's not a bad stepping stone. And then when you get into the real stuff, it's going to be a little more juicier for you than what this actually is too. So that's what I'm drinking right here. If you guys want to talk about what you're drinking, you can throw that out there.
What are you drinking, Joe?
I'm just drinking Voodoo Ranger, the standard awesome IPA that totally doesn't taste like it was constructed in 2006.
But that's the first time you've had that one.
Yeah, I don't really I don't hate New Belgium. I just not enjoy them most of the time. But to be clear and to be fair, they haven't showed up in my area for distribution until about a year and a half ago. When they showed up, it wasn't like their entire lineup. So I basically had Fat Tire and a couple of seasonals and whatnot. And I'd never really just grabbed the Voodoo Rangers just because there's so many other beers that I wanted to try and figured for the show I'd grab it. And it's it's an old school. It just tastes like an older school IPA to me. It's
a straight IPA. It looks like so.
Yeah, it's just all right. No, I mean it's not bad, but it's all right.
Don't oversell it, Joe.
I'll drink it. It's not a drain pour.
There goes your commission.
Sorry, New Belgium.
And Todd, what do you got there? You want to?
I'm drinking the same thing you have, Rod, a Juicy Haze IPA.
Oh, okay. So you cracked that one open? All right.
Yeah, it's the first time I've actually had it. Kind of like Joe, I don't really seek out to get much of anything New Belgium anymore.
How big is that hazy IPA?
ABV wise?
Yeah.
6.2. I don't even know.
Just throwing shit out there. 7.5.
Oh, baby, that's a double technically. I think 7.5 is the cutoff for double. And if you want to,
depending on that range, it probably floats right in there. But the doubles I have are usually bigger than that, though.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people look at 8 as the number, right? But I think technically, according to certain specifications, I think 7.5 is where it begins. But whatever, baby.
Yeah, jumps. It doesn't have the alcohol flavor, feel of the 7.5.
And then Eric, you're rocking the lime citradelic.
Yep, the citradelic. What is it? The exotic lime ale.
So what do you think of that?
It's all right. It's pretty light. I mean, I'm light lime flavoring. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it for what it is.
I've actually liked that one better than a tangerine, to tell you the truth.
I never had a tangerine.
Yeah.
I like their Fat Tire the best, their original Fat Tire, but
see, that's the one thing in Belgium. I don't know why, but but I know why you like it because you're more of an adjunct drinker as well, and that's kind of a nice crossover from the adjuncts. But I've never really Fat Tire does not anything I really look or seek out. Like if it's there, it's like, well, what else is there? Okay, you got Bud, you got Miller, you got then I'll drink the Fat Tire or whatever.
I'm with you, Rod. I appreciate it for what it is. Like it's a good, like almost like crossover beer or like beginner beer or whatever you want to say for a macro drinker. Something that's approachable to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before New Belgium showed up here, going back, I'm talking when I first got into craft beer, like it was, oh man, dude, people would walk in the local beer stores. Fat Tire here? You guys get fat tire. Finally showed up and I tried it and I was like, yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's all right. I mean,
you were like, settle down. You're like, settle down.
I was like, we're gonna just need you to settle down just a bit. It's all right. But I get why it's so popular. It's very approachable and it has more flavor than a typical adjunct lager. Clearly, because it's not.
But you guys know
adjunct
me.
lager.
I kind of like the lighter stuff more. I mean, I like the heavier stuff too, but I like the light stuff just as much.
Yeah, I mean it's a good beer. I get why. I mean, it's kind of like Sam Adams, the staple. I mean, it's Boston Lager is Vienna Lager, which has more flavor than your typical adjunct, but it's also approachable to people who don't like craft beer. Like they can drink it and not hate it, and that's kind of where Fat Tire is. And I get it. I do get it.
So before we go into, I guess, the beers, I guess we can hit some of the comments. You want to read them down?
Oh, man. Do I need to read them or are you going to read them?
I can read them. I didn't know because you got your stuff all probably queued to do the New Belgium.
No, I don't. I just, New Belgium is not worth my time. If you want to read them, go ahead.
I know you enjoy hitting the comments, so.
I mean, if you want me to read them, I can. I don't know if I should.
I mean, you can read them. I can use your own self-editing, use the ones you moderated yourself.
No, I got it.
The ones you want to
read. Drunken one says, "Hey, malted." He called malted Montreal malted. So,
well, he's malted in Montreal.
Malted.
Yeah, he's malted. He's malted lava in Montreal. Yeah, malted lava in Montreal. And then Swami said later, Rod and Panel, which you said goodbye to him. Jason Ford, he said, "Cam up, drunken one." I mean, he could cam up at some point. Redbeard says, "What be going down, guys?"
That's the standard Redbeard line. Like, I'm in the house.
Yep. Jason Voorhees greets Redbeard and then asks the question to us: "Is Hazy Little is a New England style IPA?" Question mark. In theory,
for what they were going for.
And this is what I would say to touch on that, what you mentioned, like. So many people, I know like a half dozen people that have tried a so-called New England style IPA. It's like, I don't like the style. Wait until you get one that's an actual true representation, then you'll see it. Like Rod was talking about the other half, or mentioning Old Nation with the M43 or Boss Tweed or Listerman locally. Or you drink a good New England style IPA, and then you drink something like Little Hazy or the Sierra Nevada, or sorry, the Juicy Hazy. It's completely different.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
Not even the same ballpark.
I mean, I can equate it to like some of the brown ales you drink now versus like when you drink a Newcastle brown ale.
Yeah,
Newcastle brown ale is the original. It's got the brown ales, the stuff going, but in today's market, it doesn't even compare to the brown ales that are out there.
Yeah, for New England style, they're way more robust, juicy. They have the mouthfeel is one of the things that stands apart too. Soft, creamy, almost like a smoothie like texture. It's
what I call it. Velvet.
Baby, velvety, baby, whatever you want to use, baby. Creamsicle, baby, whatever.
It just lays on your tongue.
It is though, like the mouthfeel. So many people get caught on flavor, but like New England style IPAs more often than not, like the mouthfeel is the thing that kind of is like, oh man, this is enjoyable to drink.
If I can relate a true New England IPA to what it tastes like, it's kind of like watching Pulp Fiction and Samuel L. Jackson loving a big burger from the Big Kahuna or whatever. Just loving how good that Hawaiian burger is. Yeah. That kind of feeling you get inside.
Maybe it's euphoric. It's euphoric. Then Drunken One says Little Hazy is awesome. I've not had it. I mean, you've had it, right, Eric, Rod, Todd?
I've had Hazy Little thing. I've had. It's not. I think I've rated like an 84. I mean, it's okay. It's solid. It's a good beer, but it's not. If you've had if you had the New England IPAs, it's not really there. It's just not. But it's still a good beer. Like you can sit there and enjoy it, but if you had the other stuff, you're like, it's all right. But I mean, here's the other stuff over here. This is a lot different. This is a whole different ball. It's like going from AA ball and then going into a major league ballpark. Totally different. You can have fun at a AA game, but you can have a lot of fun at a major league park too. So
Drunken One. when I sent him that beer mail, and thanks for him sending me out some jerky, I did send him a New England style IPA from Industrial Arts called Wrench, which is a very tasty New England style IPA. How would you compare the two, Drunken One? Not that you might not remember. I mean, admittedly so. You're like, I don't remember a lot of stuff, but you did have that Wrench, and you said how awesome it was. How does that compare to Little Hazy in your mind, or if you can remember? I'd be curious to see. Jason Voorhees also says, incredibly hard to get around here, that style, but I think I might enjoy more than styles more common here in LA or California. So I think he's saying he probably doesn't enjoy the style as much as other styles. Backwoods Billy Craft Beer Review says, cheers, everyone. Cheers.
I think he'd enjoy this more than the styles he has afforded out to him there now.
I think I might enjoy more than
because he's getting more of the West Coast type stuff. He probably
yeah. Maybe if you could clarify, just because I mean, I kind of see what you're saying. Backwoods also continues. He says New Belgium has some nice beers.
Here's Billy as well. Now I will say, when you like go into the New Belgium stuff, you know there are some ones out there. One of the better dark lagers I've had was a New Belgium beer. It's like 1511 or something. I remember. I got to look it up, see which one it was, but it's got a number for its title, and that actually was a good dark lager. I'll give him that.
And for me, like I said, when it comes to anything in life, but craft beer, we all talk about, you know, how the taste is subjective and all that stuff. And in this case, it is like New Belgium. I don't think makes bad beers. I just don't seek them out because they don't make anything that really I want to revisit too often. But I totally see why a lot of people would highly enjoy a lot of their beers. Like there's certainly a market out there for them because they sell a lot of beer and a lot of people buy it. And that's, you know, to each their own. It's just how it is.
1554, Rod.
1554. There you go.
Yeah. We were gonna get to that one. We don't need to. Trust me. Foamy Head 13 says I'm having a Tartastic raspberry lime ale.
Yeah, that's one of the ones from New Belgium. Yeah. What do you think about the Tartastic? Is it fantastic?
I was gonna pick that up today. I'm curious how that one was. I should have went ahead and got it.
Let's see what we got. Any 6-packs below $10 after tax, says Jason Voorhees. If you're talking in general craft beer, yeah.
Well, I think
for Rod, every
New Belgium are usually
that's not really fair.
Yeah, you can't pose questions like that to Rod. The rest of the panel, sure, but Rod, the answer is always yes every single time.
I was going, what? You mean to actually pay more than $10 for a Ford?
Are you talking? Yeah, you talking double digits? Double digits for beer? Well, I mean, what? You're lucky I pay in dollars. I usually pay in cents. Backwoods Billy continues with an Evolution Craft Brewing Company I guess it's a pineapple IPA. I don't even pineapple IPA.
I've seen it here. I haven't gotten it.
And he said Evo, I'm pretty sure that's their IPA, went international here on the Delmarva Eastern Shore. Sweet. I've had the Evo from Evolution. Evo 3, I believe it's called, or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. Jason Voorhees says we're spoiled by options. I agree. That's the great thing about this day and age of craft beer is it's great to be spoiled by options. When people are like, "Oh, I can't get that," there's a couple thousand other beers you can get, so just go get those. You're not missing out. Like there's other beers to be had, right?
Yeah.
Where I mean, like 5 years ago, like the reason why I think so many beers were hyped and so many people had like bucket list beers back then was because you heard about a dozen or 20 beers across the country that you wanted. Now there's like 20 beers in every city that I want to try. So
yeah,
it's blown up quite a bit. Backwoods Billy says Evo is $899. He actually means $8.99. Although some of their beers are $20 a bottle, which pretty much is the going rate for, I think, a lot of special beers that are thrown in 650s or 750 ml wine bottles. They're expensive nowadays. He clarifies $899 a 6-pack. Again, he means $899. I'm just backwards. It'd be great. It would be great, Billy, if it was $899 6-pack. I'd love to see how great that beer would be. Drunken One says, I got Sam Adams New England style IPA, which is one I'm curious to try. How about you guys? I've heard actually pretty decent things in comparison to the Sierra Nevada and the New Belgium offerings. So
yeah, I'm curious to try that one.
I'm try that.
But I want to look at it, see what it's going to taste like, and I'm kind of curious if it'll be more towards like these ones, New Belgium and like Sierra, if it did step up a little bit better.
I think they stepped it up a little bit more. I think this is maybe not in the true sense style, but closer than those, which I would hope so. They're in New England. Like,
I need to try that 76 too, because somebody wanted me to try the 76 to do a review on that one. So
I've seen some people
saying 76.
Yeah, it's a nice drinker, right? So,
but you guys have seen my beer cellar, and it's just like I don't really want to buy any more beer right now because the beer cellar is kind of crazy.
You can never have enough.
Right, Joe? A good problem to have.
Yo, I'm going to continue to read comments.
See it up close.
I didn't hear that.
10 years, like that is a lot of beer.
You never know when the zombies are coming.
No, you never know. You have a cellar full of expired beer that probably tastes like trash. Anyway, Backwoods says 120-minute IPA out here from local Dogfish Head. I have to pick some up. I like that beer, but I prefer aged as opposed to fresh. That's my personal preference.
Yeah, the fresh was just a big booze hit to me.
Yeah, and when it ages, it turns more into like this crazy barley wine, just weird, not totally not an IPA anymore. And that the heat from the alcohol settles down and just becomes much more mellowed out and enjoyable. It's really solid. And then he says he specifies Rod. A lot of brown ales, porters, stouts are so close in mouthfeel, body, carbonation, taste now, which is not what it should be in accordance with the BJCP style guidelines.
I think it depends. I mean, I can tell some difference between some of the porters and the stouts, at least with some of the ones we get. But yeah, there are some common rolling together. But keep in mind, all stouts are porters anyway.
Yes,
but not all porters are stouts. So
now we're confusing everyone. But you're right. You're 100% right. Drunken one said, wrench kicked ass, much better. And there you go. Backwoods, I'm just calling Billy. I don't keep on saying Backwoods, just Billy. Billy says, I have some awesome New England juice bombs as well as some that tasted like sour cream and gravy thickener. Some of them have the green, a lot of people call it hopper and green astringency nowadays, where sometimes they're too fresh and they like basically burn your throat and are very off-putting. And when you get those, it's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
And Billy's in a good area for beer too, because he's right there in that Maryland area. They got a pretty good amount of breweries around there. Billy, I wonder if you get any of the beers from my buddy's brewery up in Jersey, Spellbound, if they're distributing down to you yet or not. If so, let me know. Be kind of curious what you think of them.
Yep. Jason Voorhees says, are New England beers more common in the South and Midwest? They're clearly very common in the New England, the Northeast area, but they're becoming more common pretty much everywhere across the world because every single city seemingly has a brewery that wants to try it out.
They're chasing a trend right now.
Yeah, they are. It is a trend. It's not a fad. And when you sell down, it's not a fad. It's going to be here for a long time, but it is a trend. Now, how trendy it will be a year from now, who knows? But it is the trend now is basically doing style IPAs or doing the style IPAs with lactose and the milkshake IPAs, anything that tries to make an IPA taste like basically a fruit juice is where it's at for a lot of people, apparently.
Yeah, and I'll say in my area, and Todd, you get into your area as well, I think, too. And of course, Eric, well, he's Midwest as well because he has, the M43 basically saved the brewery up there, scene for all day.
Mm-hmm.
Sweden's helping them out, too, quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's like surprising. Like that's not an all-around, all-year beer offering. It looks like when I went to the website to upload I'm like, this needs to be there every day. I'm like, if you guys were next to me, I'd be coming every day to get a 6-pack probably.
Well, that's the thing. Like if you guys mentioned, like if I was there, that'd be my first. Like,
brewery's 20 minutes away from me.
Old Nation would be like a spot on my paycheck as a direct deposit. Send some over there. So.
Brewery's only 20 minutes away, Rod.
Miller Lite would be watering the plants, and M43 would be watering my liver. It would be fantastic.
No. You get started on Miller Lite, then you go to Boss Tweed.
Either way,
now you're talking dirty.
Well, that's what you guys mentioned. Like when I sent the other half, you're like, oh, if you get more other, I can't get more other half because if I did, it'd be in my fridge all the time. I'd just drink it all.
That was really good. The broccoli and what was the other one you said?
The double Citra Daydream blah blah.
Yeah, that one. Those two beers are, excuse my language, but fucking awesome.
They were, and that's why they get hype and people drink them. I'm like, yeah, let me. Can I? Oh, I can't get more. Well, fuck you too, buddies. To continue on, Billy says, if you like a good dark lager, he says to check out O'Connor Craft Brewery Company's Dark Dismal Black Lager, Rod.
Okay. I haven't seen them around here. They might be a regional, but
speaking of well, I don't know about a dark lager, but an imperial lager. Everyone claims Massacre up here by, I think it's Wolverine Brewing.
Wolverine, I've had that beer.
Have you? Is it pretty good?
Yeah. I want to say it's a barrel aged black lager though. I don't think it's just a regular black lager.
Okay.
Or maybe they do a barrel aged version too, and that's the base one. One of the two. But I have the bourbon barrel aged, and good times. Good times. Billy says Jason all over. However, the original is New England Juice Bomb, also Milkshake IPA, Hazy IPA. Can you say okay? So the Evolution Lot 3 was the one I had, and then he said the Pine Hopple Ale IPA is basically Lot 3 with a hint of pineapple to balance out the bittering, and Lot 6 is their double IPA. Sweet. I like Evolution. I've had a couple things from them. Thoroughly enjoy them. Bum. We have a Bum sighting, and as Jason says, a Wild Joe D Hangout member appears. Yeah, Bum shows up, and he says, I always try any New Belgium stuff that comes out, and it's always decent, but not enough that I'd have to run out and buy a 12-pack. I've bought a few variety 12-packs over the years, ... That's on you, Bum. He also continues with a Wild Joe D chat participant appears. Be careful, Jason. Your comments may now be permanent and shown on replay. Haha, that's true. That's true. And then Billy says also hops can be like grapes, different depending on soil condition, weather, water, etc. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Even the same hop variety, like let's say Citra, can be vastly different in character depending on where it was. Right. It was where you get it from. A lot of things play huge factors in those.
I thought I was getting static there. It was like Erico's phone. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. That's almost someone playing Frogger? What the hell is happening? Rod, I have not seen any of those here as of yet, says Billy, and he also continues with a lot of companies add wheat flour and or oatmeal to New England Juice Bomb, and some go overpowered, which creates the gravy thickener taste. Wheat flour? You
definitely get the oatmeal in it. That's what makes it kind of, you get that smoothness like it's a nitro type thing. Yeah, I knew oatmeal.
The wheat flour is a lot of brewers aren't happy with breweries that use that because that's basically cheating almost to get the haziness. Tired Hands is notorious. They're another hyped New England brewery, Tired Hands out of Philadelphia, that has admitted to using, I believe it was wheat flour to produce the haze effect, which a lot of people are like, well, you're kind of just cheating to get that look, and a lot of people are kind of turned off because it doesn't really enhance the flavor too much, or like a lot of these like oats you have mouthfeel, but even flavor. Lactose, same thing. A lot for the lactose bumps up the body a little creamier, but you also get like a touch of sweetness, a touch of vanilla from the lactose. Like it adds characters to the beer other than just, oh my god, it looks like orange juice. It adds something to it. Wheat flour, that's cheap.
Not so much.
Yeah, kind of cheap.
Yeah, I think flaked wheat is what I see on most of them nowadays.
Yeah. Which is, and flaked wheat, flaked oats, whole nine. There's a lot of ways to introduce certain ingredients to get the haze effect. All right, just go New Belgium. Seriously, I'm not doing this because this is New Belgium, kind of, but I'm going forward for our beer flow show. I'm going to just kind of slow down on the history of the brewery so we can just talk more about our personal experiences because listen, everyone here is on the internet. If you want to go find out about New Belgium, you can go to the website, you can go to Wikipedia, all the information. I'm just rehashing basically, not word for word because I kind of, make it my own, but it's not a big thing. I just want to go quickly through the history, the beers, and then we're going to talk about it because I want to spend half an hour on New Belgium about the history and stuff when you can, find it yourself. It's just kind of, I think, unnecessary. So we'll go real quick. I think Rod talked about it last week, but the brewery itself was opened and created by a couple, Jeff LeBesch and Kim Jordan, in 1991. The story goes that Jeff LeBesch went on a bicycle trip through Belgium from brewery to brewery, decided that he wanted to have his own brewery back in the States, and then he ended up renaming the amber ale that they created Fat Tire because of the bicycle trip and the bicycle itself, and they rebranded the beer with the whole bicycle and stuff and whatnot. But yeah, so it opened in 1991, and they've done pretty well for themselves. Obviously, Fat Tire is their flagship beer. They have produced a lot of beer over the years. As of 2016, they're producing almost 1 million barrels, which is a lot of barrels of beer. As of 2016, they were the 4th largest craft brewery, and 8th largest overall in the U.S. As I mentioned, Fat Tire is their staple, although they do a lot of wood-aged sour beers. The La Folly Sour Brown, they do a lot in the Folly, the series, do a lot of different beers. I think Rod, you also mentioned, and I think it was last week's show where you guys did that the owners are now divorced. They got divorced back in 2009.
Yeah.
And Kim Jordan, the wife, actually is the one that took over and bought out Jeff LeBeche's shares. So she is now, I believe, the president of the company, and which is cool. Pretty sweet. Back in 2014, they opened a second location. Their original location, Fort Collins, Colorado. Second location is Asheville, North Carolina. The brewery is the original brewery is 100% employee owned. It has been like that, I think, since early 2000s, 2000, 2001, something like that. And they actually are distributed in 50 states in the U.S. And that's August 2017. We were one of the last states to get it in New York here. I believe we got it in October of 2016. So like I said, about 1.5 years here, which is crazy because people would be like, hey, you guys got New Belgium? I'm like, no. How? I don't know. We don't. We just don't have New Belgium. Sorry. It's like they're distributing in Sweden, but not New York State. Sorry, I don't know how this works. But yeah, they're, like I said, their main brewery is in Fort Collins. As of 2013, they had 480 employees there, and since 2000, they had employee stock ownership plan, and it became 100% owned in January of 2013 through an ESOP, which is cool. They actually released a documentary called "We the Owners," which examined their focus on the employee ownership, which I haven't watched, but now that I know and I'm aware of it, sounds like something probably to check out. That's pretty cool. They employ a bunch of this is according to Wikipedia, but they say they have a quirky corporate culture where they employ carnies who work the brewery's Tour de Fat fundraising events. In addition, they employ a bunch of chemists, microbiologists, electricians, all kinds of different engineers to kind of try out different recipes, figure out how certain yeast works. It's pretty cool. It sounds pretty cool anyway. I don't know how how well it's executed, but aside from that, pretty cool. In May of 2014, they started on their Asheville location. It was fully operational about 2 years ago in May of 2016. I'm pretty sure though, and I can't remember though, Rod. So I think you'll remember. But didn't they just have to lay off some people? Was it New Belgium?
Yeah, it was like I think 20 people they were cutting, or 22 or something. They were going to be affected in the Colorado location, I believe.
Yes.
It was a small amount versus what they're doing, and they were going to get their stock option plans and stuff. But yeah, a little bit of a cutback.
Yeah, which is you're gonna see more and more over the next year and a half. There's going to be a lot of places that do it. All of their labels were initially designed by Ann Fitch, who's a watercolorist whose work appeared on all of New Belgium beers for 19 years. And then in 2010, they actually did a 4-beer Explore series, which featured labels with a different design. So kind of interesting. They are one of the few breweries that is 100% sustainable without just, not regular electricity. They have a wind power program, solar, a bunch of other stuff. So that's cool to see that they don't use regular power sources, and they actually went clean for the most part. But yeah, that's really it about New Belgium. I don't think I'm really missing too much. They've been around for like 27 years, and they produce a lot of beer. A lot of people know about New Belgium. They're not a secret. They have 14 year-round beers, which is their Fat Tire. Obviously, I've mentioned like 7 times, but just an amber ale. They actually have the beer that Todd's drinking tonight, which I think they released last year, the Belgian White, which is just a Belgian wit beer. They call it Fat Tire Belgian White. I don't know if there's any connections to the original beer, if they're using some sort of similar malt bill or certain yeast strain or whatever. I don't know, because I can't find anything on that, but if I could, I would. Probably not though. Citradelic, their Tangerine IPA. Their Gluttony Pale Ale, which is a gluten-reduced ale. The beer that Rod liked quite a bit, mentioned the 1554 Black Ale, which is a Belgian dark. Their Abbey Belgian Ale, which is an Abbey-style double. Their Tripel Belgian-style Ale, which is a Belgian-style triple. Their Sunshine Wheat, which is an American-style wheat ale. I believe that's also referenced as a pale wheat ale, Eric, which you enjoyed, which was called Gumball Head. They also have the line of the Voodoo Ranger IPA line. They have the Voodoo Ranger IPA. I have the Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA and the Voodoo Ranger 8-hop ale. They have the Dayblazer Easygoing Ale, the Citradelic Exotic Lime Ale, which I believe Eric is drinking tonight. Their Tartastic Lemon Ginger Sour, but they also have a raspberry one, a raspberry lime, which was mentioned by, was it Jason tonight? No. Jesus. Something Head, I can't remember. Foamy Head 13, that was him.
Yeah,
I believe he was drinking that. And then their New Belgium Bohemian Pilsner. They retired these beers last year. Their Blue Paddle Pilsner, which was a Czech style Pilsner. Their Ranger IPA, which was replaced by the Voodoo Ranger. Their Rampant Imperial IPA, which was also replaced by the Voodoo Ranger, but the Imperial Voodoo Ranger. Their Shift Pale Lager, which was just American Pale Lager, their Slow Ride Session IPA, and their Sunshine Wheat, which was an American-style wheat ale, probably a pale wheat ale. And they make a lot of different seasonals. I could go through them. Probably won't. I don't know. As far as like seasonals, according to their site, they have I'll be honest with you, this was the one New Belgium beer that I really was curious about, was their Voodoo Ranger Atomic Pumpkin that came out this past fall, which was their pumpkin beer with cinnamon and habanero peppers. That piqued my interest a bit, but I didn't pick it up.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, they still have some of those around, but sounds interesting. Yeah. A little older now, but yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I doubt the habanero pepper is too big in it. Probably very subtle because you don't want to scare away a lot of people, but it sounded pretty good.
Am I right? They don't have a porter or a stout in their lineup at all?
Not in their base. The closest they come, honestly, to a darker beer would be the Belgian Dark.
Yeah, the 1554.
Their other seasonal is their White IPA for winter, Accumulation. And those are the only two like seasonals that they, unless these are the only two seasonals they have on their site for right now. I'm sure they would probably have them for the spring and summer, but I don't see them. They have them like on their site. They show a lot of different stuff, but like their site's kind of looks like it's made for mobile, honestly. They do have their Wood Cellar Reserve series, which again, they are very experimental. I mean, just looking what they show on their Wood Cellar Reserve page, they have a Creek Noir, which is a dark sour ale matured over the course of 3 years in 2 continents, which is pretty good. They have a beer called Oscar, which is aged in blackberry whiskey barrels, which, that sounds pretty cool. And then they have Felix, which is a golden sour ale aged in apple-flavored whiskey barrels from Leopold Bros. So those are just some of they show on the site, but they're always, and there's always different beers. Their sour range, though, they have the La Folie series, the Folly series itself. They just have a lot. They have a lot of beers. Like some of the breweries we've done on this show, it's just too much to go through. Like they seemingly release like a new beer like every week. It's like, oh, that's another New Belgium. I didn't hear about that. And
I do have one of their. It's an Imperial Frambozen with cocoa. I have in the cellar.
That's on their site, but it's not like a part of it. It just shows it like on the scroll. So they do a lot of cool stuff. But that's pretty much it for New Belgium. They most people know them for Fat Tire. They do a lot of different beers. I mean, 14 year-round beers is probably the most I've seen from a brewery we've done. That's a lot of year-round beers. 14 in your portfolio. Most places are like, here's 8 or 6, and they have 14. So yeah,
that definitely comes with their size and everything of growing. So the success they've had.
If you do like New Belgium, the one thing they have for you is variety.
Yeah,
for sure. That's the one you'll always find something new to check out. Or if you're somebody who doesn't drink a lot of new stuff and maybe enjoys their regular lineup or their seasonals or whatever, you certainly can see them all the time. 14 year-round beers and a lot of seasonals, they always show up. So, yeah. Anyway, so personal thoughts on the New Belgium. Eric is away because he's got a phone call, so we'll just bypass him, maybe get his thoughts at the end whenever he shows up. We'll start with, I guess, with Rod, and we'll go with what we've done before. The first time you've ever had a beer, what's your history with the brewery in general?
Yeah. I don't even know when I had my first New Belgium. I can't remember because, like, it just happened at some point trying them out. I'm trying to look on my Untapped here. I know back in 2015, I've had a few things here, but I know I've had a little bit before then as well. But as far as the brewery itself, I think they're an okay kind of what I would consider like a solid enough brewery. That's my range between like a 70 to a 79. It's called solid enough that you can get something and be somewhat pleased with it. There's not anything that they have that really has knocked anything back for me as far as consistency. They've had a few beers that I've actually really liked. Their triple, which actually came out in 2015, their juicy Mandarina IPA they had at one point. Those were two good beers that I really enjoyed for them. Most of their beers, in a 5-point scale, kind of in that 3 to 3.5 range. You can sit there, you can enjoy them for what they are, but they're not going to really be impressive or leave that much of a feeling with me to say, hey, this is a great type brewery. I want to get back in there and try more of their stuff. It's kind of like, oh, there's a New Belgium. All right, I haven't had that yet. Let me pick it up and try it, see what it tastes like. So as far as like as a brewery, as far as how I would actually rate them out there, I'd probably put them at about a 3.25 to a 3.5, somewhere in that range, as far as how they stick out to me.
We're throwing numbers out already?
Are we not doing the numbers yet?
Nah, that's all right. Throw out whatever numbers you want. It doesn't matter. There's no script.
Yeah, I mean they're decent enough, but it's just like Sam Adams is decent enough on the stuff they produce, and we talked about them before, and they're like kind of behind Sam Adams. Like they're like Sam Adams is here, and then they're like right underneath Sam Adams. So for me,
this man's smart. Listen to him. Yeah, it's on point. Rod knows what he's talking about. How about you, Todd? What's your experience with them first beer?
I agree with a lot of what Rod was saying. I don't know, I can't remember the first time I actually had it. I think it was probably a Fat Tire, which is probably the majority of everybody probably first experience with New Belgium. They are what they are. They're nothing, I think, more than just a transitional from your, regular macro drinkers, maybe to dabble into craft beer, maybe. They're good. You go to Sam's Club during like the holidays and pick up like a 24-pack mix pack and sample some different things. For what they are, they are what they are. I don't seek out to get them. This is probably the first New Belgium that I've actually probably bought from a liquor store, and I can't even remember the last time, honestly. If you find them at a restaurant and that's the best option available, you might gravitate towards it, but it's not. They don't blow your mind. To me anyway, they don't do anything over the top. They do just kind of standard. Not even sure some of their standard stuff is up to par for a lot of the stuff, but it is what it is. I'd probably, like Rod, would give it about maybe 3.25.
Yeah, what's with these numbers? So you said 3.25? 3.25?
But I will say this Fat Tire special release of the Belgian White is pretty tasty.
You like it?
I've had from them. Yeah, to be honest with you. So that's probably, I would probably have the breweries we've looked at so far. This probably would be at the bottom of the list. Sorry, but
damn, that's harsh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You might. I don't think Rod's getting any free beers from New Belgium.
Truth on the channel. We speak the truth.
No, you have to. How about you, Eric? Eric, your first experience with New Belgium and the first beer you drank, and if you want to throw out a number, we're doing that right now, apparently.
Zip line in here on the fast track.
Well, my first one was Fat Tire. Was probably 6-7 years ago. Probably they were Fat Tire right around that time, and ever since then, I've kind of passed by him all the time. It was something I would always go to the macros I'd pass by him all the time and grab Miller Lite, Coors Light, because I'm an adjunct drinker. So, but then when the channel started coming, I would keep passing by. I like with Todd. I can't, it's been quite a while since I bought a New Belgium beer. So they're always good. They're decent. They're not anything that's gonna blow you away, or at least to me, they're not anything to blow you away. This one is no exception. It's nice. It's good. It has good flavor, but it doesn't have that wow factor, I guess. So to me, New Belgium's a good beer. It's just not anything that's going to be like exceptional where people are going to be craving for it and keep going back to it and back to it and back to it. And about all I got. So
if you want to throw a number out of 5 to be consistent with everyone else, what would you give it?
I would say about 3.5.
A little bit higher. I mean, I guess Rod was in 3.25 to 3.5, so I'm not going to bore anyone to death because I paid $2 for this Voodoo Ranger, and I feel like they owe me $2. No, maybe not that bad. It's
wow, nice dig there, Joel.
Yeah, it's an all right beer, but I mean, I was just looking at my Untapped, and my first experience wasn't Fat Tire. It was actually their what is it? The Lips of Faith series. They made a coconut curry. Hefeweizen, clearly coconut, and my buddy bought it for me back in like 2013. That was the first beer I ever had from him. It wasn't bad, but it was, I mean, I love coconut, and it was just like, listen, it was solid. I enjoyed it. And then they showed up here in 2016, and I bought Fat Tire to try it. I respect the beer. I understand it. It's solid for what it is. And then they actually came out with a Fat Tire it was called and Friends, Fat Tire and Friends mixed pack. There were 6 different beers. I bought that, and I actually enjoyed it from I guess just like it was an innovative, creative way to take Fat Tire and do it 6 different ways with different yeast, different hops, different taking the base recipe and changing it. But I'm looking through my Untapped, and it's like the variance is from like 3 to 3.75 for every single beer. They don't deviate lower than that. They don't deviate higher than that. That's what they are. And I think that's pretty much what we're all saying about Sierra Nevada, New Belgium. They are the quintessential craft brewery that's available basically in every state. But most people don't go out of their way to get them. You bypass them. If something piques your interest and you see them and you go, oh man, that sounds cool, you might pick it up. But I don't know too many friends. I don't know. Even people I follow on the beer tubing scene on Untapped that like go out of their way or even really buy New Belgium on a regular basis. And it isn't because they don't make quality products. I just think that's kind of how it is. Like Rod was saying about Sam Adams, how a lot of people think about Sierra Nevada, just kind of getting lost. I think so many new breweries locally showing up everywhere. You're more inclined to buy a local beer from a local brewery than you are these big conglomerates that you're going to be disappointed in at some point. Just how
for me, it's Founders, it's Bell's, it's Old Nation, it's Atwater, it's all those.
And Rod can name his 700, but we're not going to do that now. And I would give them a 3.25 as well. I think, they're clearly for me I don't want to use the word disappointing because they don't disappoint me because I expect whatever I get from them, but they are my least favorite of the breweries we've done. The 17, 18 shows we've done, 17, 18 breweries. I mean, I doubt I go and buy another New Belgium product willingly, anytime soon, just because there's so many better breweries and beers out there for me personally. It's like, if you like it, if there's people out there watching, you like it. This is all our personal opinions, all of us.
It's like for me when I buy New Belgium now, it's got to be something special. Like I mentioned, the one I have in the cellar, it's like that's like an offbeat thing you don't see them have all the time. So okay, well I would check that one out. But yeah, I don't pick up a 6-pack. All of these, I got a couple more of these down there, which I'll probably just do some reviews on, I guess. Unless I drink them, we do an after show.
He said, "I guess." See, I guess maybe if it really twists my arm.
Thinking about it.
I buy them as individual bottles. I don't buy them as a 6-pack.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to buy a 6-pack of like New Belgium. It doesn't. I could walk in and say, "Oh, there's a Stone 6-pack of this." I'll buy a 6-pack of that, or there's a 6-pack of something like Hot Box or like that and everything, like Oscar Blues or a 6-pack of these other, and it's like, New Belgium, I want a 6-pack. No, not really. I wouldn't mind trying that one, but I'm going to get 6. I might go make my own 6-pack, and there might be one there. I can't throw that one and make my own 6-pack, but I'm not going to.
You get one of the 6-pack in Belgium. Settled on. There's no room for 2.
But yeah, I mean, like I looked through my Untapped, and it was actually Fat Tire was the first one I actually checked in from back in 2013 when I first started messing around with them.
It was my second. It was my second. So you guys, your first, second. So it's like it's usually I think for most people, Fat Tire's got to be like the first, second, third beer they have. It's like you hear enough about it, and that's their flagship. That's the beer. So I think more people are inclined to go, "Hey, yeah, I heard about this beer. Let me drink it."
And then I had a couple of them that were not as flattering too. So, they had one called the Slow Ride, which I didn't think was all that great. The Juicy Watermelon wasn't all that great either. And their Cherry Almond Ale was like, eh. And their Snapshot. So those were like all under 3s for me, like when I did on Untapped. And even their Fat Funk Ale was kind of not really as great. And I was hoping for it because that was part of that Fat Tire and Friends. That was the Allagash collaboration. And that one kind of fell a little flat for me. The fat fell a little flat.
Most of those.
I had their Rheingeist one in there that was really good, which was their Pale Ale they did in there. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, we'll go to comments real quick before we do the last part, just because there's a couple here. Billy says wheat flour, which we were talking about earlier, creates more haze, whereas wheat grain malted or unmalted doesn't add as much haze as the flour. Old days, wheat flour was believed to add food for the yeast. Not so. Torrefied wheat malt does add food nutrition for the yeast. So Billy, with the BJCP and his knowledge and homebrewing, all that stuff, he's dropping knowledge here. Then he says, technically regarding brown ale versus porter versus stouts, porters should have more coffee malts, not as much as stouts. Stouts should include some black patent malt, which should add a bit of bitter as well as smoke. The smoke will mellow out over time and have more caramel toffee notes. What also I heard when you talk about porters to stouts, and again, there's so many debates. Like to go back to the IPA debate, you're talking about, the going to India and the whole thing, and then it had to be proven. There's a lot of misconceptions over the years, the history of beer. But a lot of people say the difference between porters and stouts was the stouts would use roasted malts and porters would not. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's ever been proven. I don't know if there's ever been debate, but that used to be like the general consensus was porters did not use roasted malts, stouts did. So it's probably wrong. That's what I remember reading, years ago. I'm sure it's changed 700 times from then. So if someone tells me I'm wrong, I probably am. Jason Fork, he says he was trying to decide between their lime ale and wit, but duh. Billy says any dark beer is using malts, thus technically a cousin of the amber. Brown porter, stout, caramel malt, 60-liter coffee malt, chocolate malt, black patent malt. They are typically steeped for color and flavor. And then Raz124 says, hit the nail on the head. The local breweries that don't even distribute are kicking the big legacy breweries in the butt. And it's pretty much what I was going for. You can go to your local brewery, your local bottle shop, and you can find local beers that are just much better, much fresher than so many of these big beers. And I've talked about before, even not these huge breweries. Like I'm not even talking like Sierra Nevada and Stone and whatnot. Bigger breweries, but like not as big, like Firestone Walker. I know, Todd, you're getting them soon. You're excited. Firestone Walker, their stuff shows up here. And if it's a hop forward beer, I'm like excited. And then they put it on the shelf. It's already 6 weeks old, brand new. Right. You can't compete with a six-week-old IPA when this local brewery has their 3-day-old IPA on the shelf. It's like, which one am I going to buy? The local one.
The local?
Is it,
well, and plus
it's probably going to be better.
Local,
Yeah.
You're keeping money in your town, whatever. It's always better.
It's tougher and tougher to get to breweries that aren't local, especially, listen, I don't blindly support local. If you have a local brewery and they make shit products, and guess what? Every single city has a brewery or two that makes shitty beer because that's just laws of averages. You don't support them if they're making bad beer. I want to support local everything, but if they make shitty products, I'm not going to be like, hey, this beer sucks, but it's local, so I'm fantastic. Not how it works. But local places that make great stuff, always support them over the bigger places. You should. Plain and simple.
Well, it's funny, like a lot of people sometimes talk about the costs and everything involved, which, you're going to pay some in craft beer. So your local breweries may have their beer sell, and it's going to cost more than a lot of the macros, right? Because their margins are smaller. They got to make the money to keep the lights when they're trying to build up. but you taste that in the quality as well. That's an offset you're going to get. You get that freshness in it too. So yeah, you can go over to the store and pick up a 6-pack of New Belgium or Sierra Nevada or one of these for $7.99 or whatever, and it might cost you $10.99 or $11.99 for local, but you're going to taste that difference in there too. And that's kind of the cool thing. And they are giving money back and it's staying in the community as well.
Yep, and on top of that, like people, I think they underestimate how much of a difference traveling can make with a beer and temperature change and all that stuff. If you have beers coming from California and they're coming to New York, they're traveling. They're spending many days usually in unrefrigerated trucks that, one place could be 90 degrees, another place could be 40 degrees, and that affects a lot of things with the beer. So it's like, locally, it's going to be on your shelves relatively quickly, and it's not doing a lot of traveling. It's not going to be in unrefrigerated temperatures or drastic temperature changes. You just know you're getting a fresher, more quality product that's going kind of right from the brewery right to the store, done. Not many middlemen involved either. So we have one more comment from Billy. He says, hey, here they are having hearings at the state level to allow craft brewing companies to have self-distribution, also allow more production, also longer hours of operation for the tap house. He also says local breweries typically utilizing local malts, local hops, local adjuncts, or ingredients like fruit beers, local canning companies, local employment. It's always that's why you want to support them. As far as New Belgium goes, listen. Most weeks we do the what's your favorite beer and least favorite beer? They're all the same. All right, they're not, but like they're like we talked about. No one has really said, I hated that New Belgium beer so much that like I'm going to remember it forever. Yeah. I don't think anyone's ever said that New Belgium beer is one of the best beers I've ever had. Everyone drink it. They're kind of just in the middle. They're like 3 to 3.75 range, pretty much what everyone said. 3.25 was basically the average score. New Belgium makes solid beer, but nothing that any of us will really go out of our way to want to purchase. I'm sure we'll all drink a New Belgium beer again at some point, but probably not anytime soon, unless you're Rod and have a couple beers in the basement, which is how it works, or in the fridge.
Just for the reviews. I do it for the people. For the people.
And out of the, I think
what the people want.
Is this
people person. I'm a giver.
Was this 18th or 17th? 18th, I believe.
Is it?
I want to say you guys did Flying Dog without Todd and I, and you guys, that was the 17th. So if this is the 18th, New Belgium is number 18.
Yeah.
I wasn't even here for Flying Dog, but they're better than New Belgium. So
no, I was there for Flying Dog. You wasn't.
Were you? No, I wasn't. Maybe you showed up. One of you guys, you or Eric, showed up a little late. I watched it. I forgot who showed up late, but yeah. I was like, damn. Why are we doing New Belgium?
Next time we're going to do a brewery, I'm going to have Joe back because I don't want to read all this.
I don't like reading it either, especially when you don't like the brewery. It's not fun. No, I enjoy it. You know what? Honestly, like I enjoy it because
you do a great job. I love having you do. You're awesome.
Well, I mean, but I was just talking about like specifically doing the different breweries that we like.
Yeah.
To try.
Hopefully, I don't lose you when you start your channel. Hopefully, you'll still come back.
No, I'll be here every Thursday.
We say them; those are little guys.
I'll be here every Thursday, ruining this chat, no doubt.
They'll be too big and too bad for us small folk. After
I'll be the first YouTuber to start the channel and subs go backwards. It's gonna be fun. Watch out. I don't think I can get negative subs, but when you start off, I'm in the 50s.
Can you have negative subs? Yeah.
No, I'm like 57. It'll be like 2 days later, like 45. It'll be fantastic.
Those guys got content now. I'm not going to subscribe anymore.
No, for sure. And like what I was saying is that like I wouldn't have bought this beer aside from the show, so it's good to retry stuff or revisit a brewery that I don't normally buy, and that it kind of gives us an excuse to do so. Like I wouldn't have done it otherwise. So I do appreciate that aspect of doing the show on top of just having fun and chilling and chatting with you guys and the viewers and stuff. It's a good time.
So Rod's going to mail for you reimbursement.
Yeah. You want to get that in the mail to
me. Someone reimburse me my $2
just for that.
Someone want to pay.
I bought this individual. I think it was like $1.70 or something. So you weren't too far off of that.
Yeah, this is $1.99.
Yeah, I'll be checking my PayPal here in the next couple minutes. I think one of you need to send me $1.99.
Set up that Patreon account.
Yeah, I get it on Patreon. $1.99. I'm on board.
But I think that's the wrap on the new Belgium. Jason had put a comment out there, said it's strange since I remember hate a fat tire the first time, found it too cloying, but more balanced recently, usually the other way around. I haven't seen anything where they changed the recipe or anything, but it may have just grown on you too, or your palate may have changed and now you find it acceptable. So that could be a play as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then Raz says the Slick Beer distributor stores here in New York are sending runners to the hype breweries like Other Half and Sand City, and then jacking up the price to $9 a can.
Now, Raz, where are you in New York? I'm in Buffalo, Western New York, and there's a local bottle shop. Not when I say local, I mean like 40 minutes away. But they just went to Finback, they went to Three's Brewing, and a couple other places around New York City. In New York City, they brought stuff back, and kind of the same thing. They brought back 4 different Finback beers, and I think they were all like $7-8 a piece. I don't mind that. It's kind of shitty in some aspects, but like here, I'm not going to get it any other way.
But how can they go there and buy them and resell them in their store?
Because I think in New York State, that's legal because they do distribute in New York State. I'm like, settle down, buddy. In New York State, they're allowed to do that. I think that is a law where they can, as long as they distribute someplace in New York State, they can go and buy it and then resell it at their place. So,
okay, so another state law. He said he's in Long Island.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen it more and more. I mean, we even get weird stuff like Alchemist. For some reason, Alchemist, Heady Topper fame, they will distribute their Focal Banger here to Western New York, but they'll make it where you have to consume it on premise. Like that is like we're distributed there, even though we don't distribute in New York State like cans or anything. We're going to give it to all of you guys in Western New York, but everyone has to drink it at the brewery or at the bottle shop. You can't take it home. I'm like, that's weird to make them drink it there. Like it's just a can, they buy it, take it. No, you got to drink it there. That's like the rule. Very odd. Weird shit in New York State.
Maybe it's part of their thing. Like if you buy a beer in a bar, they got to open it to get to drink it there. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not complaining. Get Alchemist Focal Banger. Like it's cool, but like just weird rules. Like doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
How is that one? Is that one pretty good?
I prefer a Focal Banger to Heady Topper, and I've had Focal Banger quite a few times, and it's damn tasty. Good beer.
Well, I've had Heady Topper, but I've not had the Focal Banger.
Yeah, it's good. Enjoy it.
He says, it's love-hate. It takes the inconvenience out of trading or waiting on long lines for releases.
Yeah, that's a thing we talked about that earlier before you got here, guys. We have like maybe an hour ago, like 45 minutes ago. It's like I asked people about Treehouse if they were to show up here locally, would you pay $8 a can? And everyone was like, yeah, because you don't have to do anything. And same thing with that. Bring some back. I mean, anything like example where say Rod is if Old Nation showed up and you never had it was like one of your favorite beers or whatever, and it showed up and was $6-7 a can. You didn't have to do anything, maybe. Yeah. Maybe not because you don't pay like over $2 a can, but like if you did as a normal person that has to pay full price once in a while, I'm just saying.
Well, it's like it's a convenience fee, like I mentioned earlier, like about the whole business. Somebody was doing that, so
yeah. No, it's one of those things where you ask 100 people, you'll probably get 50 different answers, right? It's all how you value a lot of things in life, and I don't really have any issues with that. The whole reselling thing, like it's cool, but. It's if a local business is going to travel 6, 7, 8 hours, like from Buffalo to New York City is like 7 hours. Yeah. You're going to go down there and travel. Most of these places are driving with big vans and stuff so they can bring back a bunch of stuff. You're going to spend a 14-hour round trip and bring it back, and you're going to charge an extra $3-4 a can. You'll probably make a little bit of money, but probably not a ton. You know what I mean? You're probably recouping gas and lodge and all that stuff. And at the end, you might make an extra certain cent per can, like 10 cents a can or something. Might not even be worth it, but it gets people talking about your place of business locally. Like, oh man, remember when they had this? I like going there now. So I'm going to go there every week or a couple times a week. I'm going to go drink there. That's kind of the trade-off for them, I think, right? They're known to have the good beer. People go there and buy everything else on top of that if they enjoy the experience. So.
Yeah, and it's kind of a marketing advertising campaign for them.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He also said, have you ever heard of industrial arts brewing? Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. A buddy of ours, Drunken One, was talking about a hazy little thing. And I actually sent him a can of wrench. And I was like, how does that Sierra Nevada hazy little thing compare to wrench? He's like, yeah, no comparison because it doesn't. But I really like industrial arts, especially wrench. I think it's a damn good beer. And then Billy has one more. Well, I guess we'll just end it with Billy because there'd be 100 comments still going. Are you doing another chat or are we just cutting this off or what are we doing? Rob?
Yeah, we can do that and we'll cut it off and then we can go after hours if you guys want to still hang and I grab another beer.
Yeah.
Overtime.
Overtime, baby. Dr. Rose enjoys it. Billy says, try home brewing. A lot of craft beer knockoff recipes online will get you close. Some breweries will give you the recipe. Just pay attention to mash pH. Make a small batch first. Save, gain knowledge. You will gain knowledge of hops, malts, adjuncts, yeast, and how important water is, which, yeah, water is very, very important. Substitute this hops for that. Changes this. And he says also change the yeast, changes it, and so on and so forth, which there's a lot of moving parts in beer. That's why it's so complex. Raz says, cool, drinking a wrench right now. Awesome. Yeah, it's fantastic beer. And Redbeard says, I'm down for some after fun. Well, guess what, Redbeard?
Redbeard might be on probation. You got me stressed.
Yeah. You got stalkers, Redbeard. Settle down. Get it under control.
He's in the penalty box.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to everyone who commented. Billy, Raz, who else was here? Jason Voorhees, Drunken One, Malton Montreal, Redbeard, obviously, and the one guy who made the one comment, Foamy Head 13. I keep forgetting his name because he made one comment, and it was about the Tartastic Raspberry Lime. So yeah, thanks for everyone for commenting. That's part of the show that is thoroughly enjoyable. Mm-hmm.
And appreciate the people that watched tonight. And then Eric, we turn it over to you.
All right, guys, if you've had too much to drink, please get a designated driver. You guys should know my spiel by now if you watch any of my videos. If not, I'm going to do it one more time. If you're going to drive home drunk, you're going to get pulled over by the cops. You're going to have the stupid sobriety test. You're going to free ride to jail. Then you have court fees, then possible prison time. And if you hit or kill somebody, you're going to be in the slammer for a while. And if you kill yourself, all you've done is hurt your family and friends. Put yourself 6 feet under. Just sleep off your buzz and get your car the next day. Get an Uber, a taxi, Lyft. Just something, because we all want to see you back next week.
Except for you, New Belgium.
There you go. Get that out there.
One last dagger before you go.
If you do get in trouble, guess what?
Knife.
We're gonna send Eric to your house, so you have to deal with Eric if you do get in trouble for something.
Hey, I got a bedroom for you.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. that's on you.
Yeah.
Whoever takes him up on the offer, that is totally on them.
But that being said, thanks for everybody that tuned in tonight to check out the show. We gave you what we got, and so if you want to hang out for a little bit, we'll be back here. And what we would say, 2 and 2. We'll come back with a little overtime. See who may show up for that. That's always like a grab bag of who may be around and might pop on there. You might see some red beer. You might see some Drunken One. And you might see whoever, but we'll catch you then on the rebound.
Come on, we got a quote DMX. It's not a fucking game.
Out now. Are you trying to say something, Joe?
I just said it's not a fucking game. You got to quote DMX at some point while playing.
If you want, we'll bring DMX back for the overtime, all right? As always, keep drinking those good craft beers. And remember, there's always time. Get your beer on. Cheers. See you back in the flash.